Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. You'll get 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Plus, enjoy access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection. And with the welcome offer of 150,000 points, your business can soar to all new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
Yeah, but Snoop was in it too, so he has to be in it.
Snoop was right.
Yeah,
Snoop was
but
good.
Yeah, but Snoop's playing the Crip. He is a Crip.
Put me on the front seat with
Dr.
my
Dre
better
made a
whoop his
film
ass.
called "Fuck the Police," and then he has to go and play the police. And that's how you know you become a successful West Coast rapper when you play a policeman. Think about it.
Well, you played the fucking policeman,
Ice
to be
Cube played the police officer in Ride Along.
Right.
Then
Yeah, I mean, was he a
Ice-T.
police officer really?
I mean, I didn't say I was a good police officer.
But that's what happens if I'm a good body cop.
Ice-T.
So who's the best of those?
Who's the best rapper turned
Cop.
Which
Will
one?
Smith.
In which one?
Bad Boys.
Yeah, he's the best one. I changed it.
Mike Lowry.
I changed it. He's
Mike
the best.
Lowry.
Mike Lowry.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Flixwatcher podcast. Today joined by Funmbi,
Yo.
Dane,
Hello.
and as always, Helen.
Hello.
Forgot your name there. And we're going to be talking about Training Day.
Thank you as always to the mighty people for the mighty tunes, and thanks to Ben from Rockwood Audio for his awesome editing skills.
Please do remember to write a review and rate us on Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can do where you listen to the podcast, because it really does help us.
And you can join in the conversation with us on Twitter
At FlixWatcherPod and on Instagram.
at Flixwatcher. Hello, film fans. Welcome to this episode of Flixwatcher podcast. In our studio today, we have Funmbi and Dane. If you would like to say hello to our listeners and tell them about the pod work you do, please.
What's up?
Hello.
Just staring blankly at each other then.
Like, who wants to go first?
I mean, it's very similar to podcast work. I have my own podcast, which is called Dane Baptiste Questions Everything. It's currently available on Spotify and iTunes. And it's exactly what it says on the thumbnail. I essentially have weekly guests who join me in the studio with my producer friend, Howard Cohen, a.k.a. The Hizzer. And we just pose the questions that need to be asked. And I guess we're just trying to introduce an environment where people still ask questions instead of just accepting their reality. And that can be with very serious and complex topics and some very simple, more whimsical ones as well. But we've been very blessed to have podcast alumni such as Richard Curtis and Connie Huck. June Southbourne will be joining us soon. Reggie Yates, Michelle Gale. Just to name a few of the amazing esteemed guests we've had, including Funmbi Omotayo as well.
Yes, I have been on that podcast. haven't I?
And then we have a podcast of our own, which is called Mr. Omotayo.
Quotas Full, which is myself, Dane Baptiste, Kate Kurd, Allah, Ishan, Tez. It's quite a few of us.
It's a mixed bag, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does it change every episode?
It does change. We
change.
Yeah, we took the theme of quotas, which we so often see in terms of representation and diversity initiatives in our industry, and flipped that on its head. And
Comedians, you mean?
Yeah,
You're both comedians.
Oh, yeah, we're comedians. Yeah. And we were like, they're always having quotas, so we took that, and as we normally do, we take a tragedy, we make it into a comedy, something funny. Yeah. So again,
it's just
weekly,
like a laid back. Well, I wouldn't say laid back, but it's just comedians who get to be in an environment where they, I guess, build a platform where we feel comfortable with our voice, and it's not kind of doctored, or we feel like we're following someone else's narrative. This is our little world and how we feel about things.
Well, I listened to a fair few episodes, but one of the ones that stuck with me a lot was I think you call it the Yahoo Boys. We're talking about the Nigerian
Fraud,
scams and how that affects the infrastructure in Nigeria and how people treat Nigerians when they leave Nigeria, but also the the government there. Well, not the government. The people like viewing these guys was like, dude, you're fucking us all up. What are you doing?
Yeah. I remember that episode. I think Ola was the one.
It was a good episode. I'm pro 419s.
Me too, to be honest with you.
Well, because I just feel like there's a little racial bias whereby, it's one of the perfect executions of white collar crime, and they're just not given the credit. But everyone will sit down and watch the whole franchise of Ocean's 11.
I wanted to know how often these scams work.
The biggest one was the guy who defrauded the Bank of Japan to pay for constructed airport in Brazil. So I think it was...
and that actually worked?
Yeah, an email scam of about 100 million. It's in Misha Glenny's book, McMafia.
Right.
That was the biggest one that was pulled off. And I am trying to secure the film rights.
So talking about crime, we're talking about Training Day today.
Yes.
Which is your choice, Funmbi.
Yes, it is. Training Day.
Can you tell us why you chose it and give us a 2-minute synopsis?
The reason I chose this film was because when it came out, I was in drama school.
Right.
In Canada. Yeah, in Vancouver. And it was one of those things where growing up as a young black kid, you always dreamed of being an Oscar. Because, it was always so like, oh, he's the first one to win an Oscar, he's the second one to win an Oscar. Like, I wanted to be the third person to win an Oscar, something like that, you know what I mean? And Training Day came out, and it was I remember watching it in the cinema, and then I found that it was nominated for an Academy Award.
Yeah.
And the performance...
Denzel, you mean?
Yeah, Denzel. Yeah, Denzel. And the performance was just mind-blowing, and that's why I picked this film. Because when it came out on Netflix, I watched it again.
Sure.
Because I was like, yeah, finally, they're respecting the Don. The synopsis of this movie is essentially like a first day of work kind of thing. You've got Ethan Hawke, who is Officer Hoyt, who's I think he's a new officer in the department.
Well, I call him a rookie, but he seems quite old, doesn't he?
He's a rookie in the sense where he's new to the department.
Sure.
But he's been on the force.
Yeah.
But he's a rookie in this moment here. And Denzel's he's a training officer. Kind of meant to show him the ropes of what's going on the day, which is what's supposed to happen on your first day. It turns out to be some kind of psycho journey with this crazy man in a car. And it's essentially a look into corruption in the police department and how things can get done and what you need to do to, how dirty your hands have to get to make change in an environment. But then also, how much does that change you as a person? And I guess for Officer Hoyt, who's Ethan Hawke's character, I guess for him, he's just not prepared to go the whole 9 yards in order to make change. He's still willing to have some kind of humanity.
Well, I feel that he's got to make a lot of change in the space of less than 24 hours, hasn't he? You feel that Denzel and Dre and the other guys on the force, you think they've been groomed a bit before they have to get to the level where they're stealing a lot. So I think it's a bit unfair on Ethan on that day.
But it begins early though, doesn't it? He immediately begins to try and corrupt him when they first meet in the diner because he tries to encourage him or coerce him into telling a somewhat misogynistic story.
Yeah.
When he asked if the lady involved had a liquor license already, he kind of was trying to, gauge the level of morality he had. And I think he even refers to asking him about his wife, and he's saying his wife is Chicano, so she's of dual heritage from Mexico and the US. Yeah. And I think he says something about he loves her so much you probably still fuck her face to face, right?
And then he got sensitive about that.
Yeah, and he was be careful because, and the justification
you bring your family to work.
That's the day you die.
But it's amazing when you're watching that film in that moment, you're thinking, this guy is an OG for real. That's some good advice. You don't want to bring your family to work. Nothing to do with that. He was trying to gauge what kind of man
this is. It's testing.
Yeah, what he had to lose and how much he loved his wife. You know what I mean?
Helen, what are your thoughts on Training Day?
Well, I have to say, having been on lots of first days in different work environments, this is not quite the usual first day on the job. I had seen this film before. It's all about Denzel, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
he's got to play off Ethan, I think.
Yeah. I guess Ethan Hawke is good in this. He kind of plays the Ethan Hawke kind of thing, but this is Denzel's movie. I think he's brilliant in everything, and it kind of took a while for him to get recognition, and also possibly took a while for him to be given parts that kind of stretched him or changed the public perception of him, because kind of up until then he'd kind of mainly had kind of nice guy roles and a bit
the father.
But before this he had Malcolm X.
Then that's
okay.
The only one I would say would be Fallen.
I don't.
Yeah, he was
at the end. So he's a homicide detective.
Sure.
And he's tracking who he believes to be a murderer, right? Who turns out to be a demonic fallen angel called Azazel. and I think in the end he becomes possessed. So that's the only time I've seen him being playing I guess the antagonist.
Okay.
I think normally he does play the protagonist a lot.
And then
of the
after this, there's obviously Flight, Man on Fire, and other roles where he just got to
Equalizer,
have a little bit more fun, really.
And the Book of Eli, and then it's just like fucking guys up. I'm here for it. Denzel being a ridiculous Superman, he deserves that. Now he joins the alumni. He's
the
good.
alumni.
The alumni of like dudes in the Expendables.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, is it the Expendables?
No.
Denzel
can't be the Expendables.
He can now.
He hasn't got enough action films under his belt.
There's 2 Equalizers. Man.
Equalizer 1 is good. 2 is terrible. Book of Eli is terrible.
But it's hella violent though.
Yes.
And Book of Eli was good.
But if you look at the Expendables, you're looking at Dolph Lundgren, man. Van Damme.
I mean, you say this, but I'm gonna.
They got enough in the tank.
I know, but you say that, but Wesley Snipes wasn't in the second Expendables, and he definitely should have been.
He wasn't one of them.
He was in jail then. Still.
Yeah.
Still, they could have done a jail scene.
Was he in part 1?
He was in 3.
He was in 3.
Yeah.
But he should have been.
Mel Gibson was in the Expendables. That's the kind of clientele we're dealing with here, man.
Yeah, you don't want to go.
Exactly.
You don't want Denzel to be doing good acting.
Why can't Danny Glover be? Why can't Danny Glover be in Expendables? He was Murtaugh when Mel Gibson was being Riggs, and he was in the second Predator.
Good point.
Just
didn't
saying.
have the muscles though.
No Cynthia Rothrock though. That's what I thought was insane.
That's true. There's not enough female characters
Cynthia
in there.
Rothrock should have and Michelle Yeoh should have definitely been in Expendables.
It'd be great to have Michelle Yeoh in there.
Should have definitely been in there.
What are your thoughts on Training Day?
I love Training Day.
Yeah.
I love Training Day. I had it on DVD. I watched the DVD extras. Training Day.
What were the extras?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, one of the extras. Well, number one is because you don't. Because his name escapes me. What's his name in the film again?
Who, Denzel?
Yeah.
Alonzo,
yeah. So basically, there's one part where I think he's taking. Takes Ethan to meet the Vatos, like the Mexican gangsters and stuff. And he's talking about a guy, Mexican guy, who was smacking his dog. Mm-hmm. And he comes out the car when he was a beat cop, and he was like, "What the hell are you smacking a dog for?" And he's a guy knew ex-convict and stuff, and then the guy was like, teaching it to hate N-words. And he's like, "What?" So he paid a crackhead to hit the dog. And obviously because of the tensions between, Mexican gangs and like
Black gang.
Bloods and Crips on the West Coast, he's teaching his dog to attack African Americans on sight. And Denzel's like, once I saw that, then that's when I lost hope. And it was interesting because they didn't give you that glimpse into when, obviously...
They showed in the movie.
No,
yeah, exactly, they showed in the movie, but it's an interesting point to see at which point he began to start compromising his morality within his job. But I think it's a great film. The film is supposed to be a fictionalization of the Rampart scandal that was an investigation into corruption amongst the LAPD. There was another film made by Kurt Russell. I want to say it was like the Blue Line or the Blue Watch, something like that.
No,
the Blue Storm with Jake Gyllenhaal, I think. But but the film's about the Rampart scandal. So there was some, actually, it was kind of contentious because it was like, why is the Rampart scandal being led by a black guy? Because the Rampart scandal and the whole revelations about that goes back so far as like, with Rodney King, with a lot of drugging and stuff. And so he was playing a composite character in that respect. But yeah, I love this film. Introducing Eva Mendes.
Yeah, true. There's a lot of cameos. There's a lot of first-time people in it.
Macy Gray.
Macy Gray's in it. Terry Crews, you see him at some...
Terry Crews as well, yeah.
He didn't have a line, though.
No. He didn't need that. You do like that, you don't need to have a line.
The guy who put the gun on the floor, he's actually an OG Crip. No, or Blood. One of the two. He's actually an OG
Blood. Yeah, he's Blood. Bones, right?
Actor
Bones,
in the news with the LA riots. So they were actually real gangbangers in the...
I was thinking about... Because one of my favourite TV shows, my favourite TV show is The Wire. And I love the layer and how layered the cast and crew is, and a lot of them are layered peppered with people who were in Baltimore, part of the crew. Mm-hmm. So I was wondering when they were making this, you have to have the guys on side who are on set. And this is the same with Boys in the Hood. That was shot in the Hood. Yeah. And they had to let everything happen around them when that was happening.
Yeah, because John Singleton was like, there was fights every day.
Yeah, you got to check in. But this film was very...
One of the actors I loved in Training Day was the guy from, I forget his name, he was in The Mask. He was the protagonist in The Mask. He's the one that got shot.
His chief?
Not his chief, the one that got shot in the door when he had to take the fire coming in because they had to make it look like a setup.
Yeah.
He's like a really cool character actor. Like he's been in so many... He's always usually in these group heist movies where he's,
I know who you're talking about. I know you're talking about.
I love watching him act. So that was
the dude who becomes the evil mask, basically.
He was in the Mask.
I hadn't put that together, but yeah, he's part of the crew with Dr. Dre.
Yes, with Dre, who I think was terrible.
Yeah, but Snoop was in it too, so he has to be in it.
Snoop was right.
Yeah,
Snoop was good.
Yeah, but Snoop's playing the Crip. He is a Crip.
Put me on the front seat with him.
Dr. Dre made a film called "Fuck the Police," and then he has to go and play the police. And that's how you know you become a successful West Coast rapper when you play a policeman. Think about it.
He played a crooked policeman.
Ice Cube played the police officer in Ride Along.
Right.
Then
I mean, was he a police officer really?
I mean, I didn't say I was a good police officer.
But that's what happens in Hollywood. A good body count.
Ice-T made a song called "Cop Killer" and "Body Count," and he became a police officer. And then Dr. Dre made it "Fuck the Police," and he became a police officer.
So you're saying it's a career trajectory?
I guess.
Yeah.
It's like.
So who's the best of those?
Who's the best cop? Well, it's Samuel Jackson, a Shaft.
No, come on.
Yeah, but he didn't.
Terrible.
He wasn't.
He's not released a rap album.
The one on Netflix is
Sam
terrible.
wasn't a rapper, was he?
No,
he wasn't a rapper. But who's the best rapper turned
cop? Ice-T, man. He's like, what, 10 seasons in? Because Ride Along, Ice Cube as a cop is terrible.
I'm going to say my favorite rapper turned fictional police officer.
LL.
It's LL, yeah. In Too Deep.
Into Deep.
It was LL?
Well, I was going to say SWAT.
It was SWAT. It was SWAT.
Yeah, SWAT. Yeah,
he was pretty good.
Into Deep, he was God.
Yeah, he was God. Yeah.
And SWAT, all he did was take his top off and
that weird moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
There was a weird point
moment
at which films were just going with like one syllable. It was SWAT, then stealth, and then and it was just like they just did a whole bunch of films about America's various military institutions. It was like it's weird.
Yeah.
But I love this film.
Yeah,
really good film.
I love this film.
Although I am of the school though of like, he shouldn't have taken this for him to get an Academy Award.
I don't know who was he up for an award for Malcolm X or
yes, he was, but he lost to Scent of a Woman.
Pacino.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
I mean, who could
he won for Glory though as best supporting?
Yeah,
he had already had an Oscar for. He's had one for a lead. But then, if you look back at when I look back at those moments, because we stayed up to like 3 a.m. watching the Oscars to see if Denzel was going to win, because it meant so much as like as young black people. But then I look back now, it's really there's no significance, there's no merit in terms of how the Oscars are given out.
I mean,
so I don't really think whether he won.
Did he get one for Philadelphia?
No.
Tom
Hanks did.
Tom Hanks did.
Hanks did back to back.
So yeah, I guess I mean.
But the thing is, this because you like the movie doesn't mean you should get a nomination.
No, not at all. But at the same time, I would have argued at the time that, given the subject matter and his approach to the role, I think it was actually but then, kind of pioneering. Some people may have passed on that.
But his role was like the prejudiced lawyer, so he couldn't apply that to anyone really.
Initially, I feel like,
and you can go a layer deeper in that and be like, his role was that supportive black friend as well.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it really worked.
Which
is
pretty good. Why they turned that on his head for Training Day, because normally your buddy cop film, even though it's obviously a very dark aesthetic compared to that normal paradigm, but like, normally you have your white Anglo-Saxon Protestant protagonist with a mullet, Bruce Willis, a black sidekick. Well, he's talking Lethal Weapon, isn't he? Because John McClane is Celtic. But the reason I always say white Anglo-Saxon Protestant is because in these films that came around the same era, the protagonist is not allowed to kill a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant as the lead antagonist. You're not allowed to kill him because you just can't. Which is why in Die Hard, like it's Gruber, or like in Bad Boys it's Fouché, or like
Bad Boys was fire.
Even in it's normally like a malevolent villain.
Oh, there
with
you
a European
go.
accent.
Will Smith.
Which one?
Cop.
Yeah.
Rapper turned cop.
In which one?
Bad Boys.
Yeah, he's the best one. I changed it.
Mike Lowry.
I changed it.
Mike Lowry.
I love this film. I haven't seen it that many times though. And it was when it came out when I was at university. We went to see Monsters Inc. And then it just happened to be on next, so I just walked into it. So I had 2 for 1.
It's a good day.
Yeah, it's a fantastic day. It's one of the best days of my life.
Double bill though.
Yeah, well,
Monsters Inc. to Training Day. That's a big jump.
I didn't even know this film existed. It was just on Next, and I'd never seen Denzel play this kind of role before. And it's like you said. I mean, I haven't seen Malcolm X, but it's still his character is very kind of antagonistic to the industry, I guess, within Malcolm X. That's why I was kind of questioning you're saying he always plays a protagonist. But this, he was like straight out hood mentality turned cop, and I loved it from the very start when he sits down and says this is a newspaper, it's 90% bullshit, and that whole conversation from then has me in the film, and I absolutely love it from that.
My part was when he said football going to the office. He said, you're in the office, baby.
Yeah.
And he says going up, and he goes toot, toot, toot. I said okay. All right.
I like when he takes him to the jungles for the first time, to the blood neighborhood. He's like, this is the main vein, this is the artery right here.
Denzel was
Don't come here without me.
Yeah, exactly.
You see when Ethan Hawke had to jump the crackheads in the alley, and then Denzel just walks in like, "You got mad squabbles, boy."
It comes in clapping the guns together.
Yeah, clapping the guns
You
together.
told
It's like,
me
to suck. I had never seen Denzel like that before. I was just watching it, and I kept on thinking he was going to do good to do good at some point. And this was all definitely a training day.
It's just a spiral down, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Was there any redeeming feature for Denzel in this?
No, there was no redeeming feature. His wife turned away.
Looks after his girlfriend.
He's also married, and it's more of a question of he's keeping it there as an illegal immigrant and taking advantage of her. Which, given today, what's going on today, I imagine that it would be ICE would be at her door.
But yeah, knocking down that door.
Any help from him at all.
So he was married, didn't he?
Yeah.
Got like 4 kids, you're saying?
Oh,
Four
yeah,
kids.
got 4 sons. Yeah.
Policía, señorita.
Yeah.
Oh, papi. Mommy. And I was like, Mama and Denzel.
One of my favourite actors in this is Cliff Curtis. He plays Smiley.
He's from New Zealand.
Yeah,
originally.
this is the point. So
the Mexican, one of the Vatos was from New Zealand as well.
That's Smiley.
Yeah, Smiley.
Yeah, Cliff Curtis.
Yeah, he's from New Zealand.
So
he's a great actor.
So he's a Maori actor, but he plays Arabian or Mexican, so he just plays. You've got that kind of that kind of looks. You can play a variety.
I know nobody wants to say miscellaneous.
Yeah,
I'll say miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous,
or what would be referred to as minority ethnic.
Sure.
So in terms of this new BAME thing, he's the ME.
He's the ME and BAME. But he does a lot with it.
He's great, man. Hillside Trece, fool.
Yeah,
He's amazing.
He's in Hobbs and Shaw. He plays the Rock's brother, which is
actually accurate. So both Islanders. So
both Islanders. But it's just like the disparity in size and build. At one point, I'm not going to spoil Hobbs and Shaw. Guys, I know we're a bit pressed for time. Should we head to the scoring for training day?
Well, let's do it.
Welcome to the Flixwatcher unique scoring system. All of the scores are out of 5. You may have decimal places if you wish, and we will start with the recommendability with you, Funmbi, please, out of 5.
5. Definitely a hot 5.
Just straight out the gate, recommend it to everyone.
5. To recommend, hell yeah, watch Training Day 60 times.
Dane?
I'm going to say 4.8, only because it's like, if you are someone that doesn't like violence and you don't like Denzel, then you won't enjoy it, because this is like Denzel at his best.
Peak Denzel.
Peak Denzel. I mean, for me, he got game as peak Denzel, but he's very good.
Game.
Wow.
Oh man, he was amazing in that film. I love that film.
The film wasn't amazing though.
He was great in it. You don't like that film?
I think, is Denzel ever been in a film, even if it's bad, where he wasn't great?
Outstanding in it.
Yeah, Unstoppable. Train wreck.
Is he not good in that?
The film's not good, so he's not good. As far as I'm concerned.
But you can be great in a good.
The thing is, he's watchable in pretty much everything.
He's watching everything.
Like I watched the Taking of Pelican 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that was
the dialogue they were having. I could just watch it over and over again, and even the film was not that great in terms of overall. Just the dialogue between them two, you're just like, these are some heavy.
I didn't think I would like John Q. I love John Q.
John Q's amazing, man.
Because of Denzel.
Have you seen Fences?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know what?
But even Viola Davis going head to head.
She
went toe to toe.
I don't think she did, you know. I don't think she went toe to toe.
That crying scene.
I don't think she went toe to toe, though.
But the crying scene.
I don't think she went toe to toe.
No, man. Look,
no many people get to go toe to toe with Denzel.
You don't let snot come out your mouth. You're there to get it in one take. No, I go Dave for Viola Davis. Oh, goodness me.
Helen,
amazing.
Recommendability.
So watching this again, I realised that it's really great, but the end goes a little bit silly when he jumps off a roof onto the car.
Yeah,
which
it is almost like proto Fast and Furious.
It's a little bit of a shame because it sort of makes everything that comes before it a bit like, really?
Hollywood.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw him.
It was a bit like
with 2 chrome guns in with about 4 or 5 crips just going.
Yeah. You know what? That was believable in the sense of
tell you what, that was
some terrible shooting in that whole film.
That was unbelievable. Well, first of all, homies in the hood can't shoot anyway. So it's like they got target practice going on. I could believe that, but you're right. That's the one time, because it's just that he's reversing. It's like he's coming, and next thing you know, like from where? Yeah. Like really. God. So yeah, I know. I agree that.
Even Mendes.
So what are you saying?
So I'm going to go for a 4 on that one.
Fair.
I'm going to go 4.5. Same for Dane. Definitely there's a lot of violence in there. It's a tough watch. But even if you're not a fan of Denzel, I think this film will make you a fan of Denzel.
If you're into like an action cop drama, then
if you like The Wire, like you take to this.
I mean, that's the benchmark. That all things that
All media.
All box sets today, like, that's the benchmark. The Sopranos and The Wire.
Are you talking to 4Y fans around this table?
And 24.
Nah.
24 started the box binging.
No. That was The Wire and The Sopranos, and I'd argue.
But 24 came out before The Wire.
I know, but I'd argue to an extent Oz and Sex and the City. HBO kind of pioneered the box set.
24, man.
But 24 is basic.
It is basic, but it started to watch it. Everybody wanted to watch an episode in one day.
There was that thing where I put it on. It's like
I can't stop.
Like 8 hours later, I'm like.
But that was more of a temporal thing, though.
But it was still. But it was. You know what
it was? Terrible. It was the B stories. Like they would take, because you start the season with your fire, and you take everyone on a tangent because you're gonna come back to the fire. But in 24 episodes, the fillers were just.
Well, I just thought it's nonsensical.
The Wire, I
not
felt
watched
I
24.
lived in The Wire. I felt like I lived in Baltimore. That's a different. That's immersive.
I stopped The Wire. I stopped watching The Wire after they killed.
No spoilers.
Who's not watched The Wire in 2019? I'm sorry. Okay, we can edit that out.
Yeah.
I love The Wire.
Never spoil
You need
The
to
Wire.
leave it in, and when he just go, when he beep, 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 and everyone no.
Repeat viewing score, Funmbi.
Repeat viewing score, I think, for me, I was going to say like a 4.
Yeah.
Because I've watched Training Day at least 200 times.
What?
Especially the iconic scene at the end.
And that's only a 4 then.
Right. I'm saying a 4 because I want to be fair, because I don't want everyone to feel like I have to do what I'm saying. I want to be fair to the scores.
No, you give your score you want to give.
Okay, I'll say 4.5.
200 times sounds like...
Yeah.
Sounds
For the 4.5, I tell you why I've watched Training Day over 200 times. Because of that iconic scene where it says King Kong has nothing on me. I've watched that scene, literally, from the time he jumps on the car to when Ethan's walking away, and I just can't get enough of it. I watch everyone in the background. I look at their reactions. I watch it again to see.
You're like, no, that's Terry Crews.
Yeah. Like, what's he saying? And
4.5.
just the way Denzel controlled that whole,
It's an iconic monologue. I'm going to give it the same and as I said, if you can get hold of some of the outtakes and the director's commentary, because like I said, with something like The Wire, it's very rare that you see films which depict like gangbanging culture in LA, and they're like quite rich and that quite accurate, because
there's more depth.
Especially when you watch films like Hard to Kill and like Seagal films, and it was always the same guy with the dreadlocks that they would use to do like fake patois accents and have fake gangsters and stuff. So definitely 4.5 from me.
I'm a little bit lower, so I've seen this once, I think, and I probably wouldn't have watched it again unless you'd picked it.
Why not?
I don't know. I think I got everything that I wanted from
First
it.
time.
Yeah, and for me, I would rather watch a Denzel film that I hadn't seen than watch this again. And also, it's 2 hours and 2 minutes long, which if you know me, anything that's not 90 minutes, I'm a bit like,
no, but
I haven't got the time.
You use that time argument just to justify the film, no matter what, because Inception's 2 hours 20, and you're like, it's only 2 hours 20.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it though.
Inception felt like 4 hours and 20.
I liked Inception.
Yeah, I love Inception, but you're saying the concept of time is there. It changes depending on how much you like the film.
So when someone comes in and they're like, Dances with Wolves, Helen will be like,
nope. Oh yeah,
that is a long film though.
What about Gone with the Wind?
I wouldn't know.
I mean, I've watched that once. I'm not going to watch it again.
Helen, it's a direction. That's an instruction for Helen to be gone with the wind when the film begins again.
I'm still watching it, and I've been this is like for 5 years now.
Yeah.
So what score are you saying?
2.
2. I'm going for a 3.5 here. Watched it in cinema, got the DVD, watched it a lot when it first came on DVD, but I haven't seen it since. Glad it's on Netflix, and I'll probably watch it again in a couple of years, but I'm not going to be the 200 times like your man here.
I mean, when that first came out, Denzel was a cop like doing sideways shooting Crips, and that shit was pretty cool.
There's so many lines in this which just make me, and they are all Denzel's lines, aren't they? Yeah. They're all his.
Yeah.
Just like I say, when he's walking down the alleyway, clapping the guns, cracks me up. And even just like, all right, okay. Just that.
Yeah, okay. And he said, I remember the crackhead said to him, suck my dick, pal. And then he goes, you've been to the booty house? He goes, suck my dick, I know people. He goes, yeah, that's how it starts. He just said it, so yeah, that's how it starts.
So I'm getting what did I say? I'm getting a 3.5. Yeah. 3.5. Small screen score. Do you want an explanation of this?
Ooh. Small screen score. So you mean like on the TV?
Yeah, so TV is small screen, so home viewing.
The second time.
That's all right. It's all right. It's the
tiny screen stores.
It's acknowledging the fact we're watching it on Netflix rather than the cinema. How well does it translate to watching it on the small screen? And do you feel you want to watch on the cinema each time you're watching it?
You need a big screen for Training Day.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, if you talk about small screen at home, you need a big plasma TV. Just what I'm saying. So I think for small screen, I think like 3.5, 3.5. Yeah.
Dane.
I'm gonna give it a high score, man. I'll give it a 4. I feel like it translates just fine. It's not a film I don't think that necessarily depends. Like its suspense doesn't depend so much on like any kind of atmospheric sound and like, THX and stuff. It's just an action thriller.
One thing that annoyed me on this rewatch that I realised is that they start the songs and the songs last for like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So they start like Still DRE and they start like Papa Roach. 25 seconds and it cuts and you're like, what was the point in that?
Sounds like some copyright shit.
So, yeah, well. Helen?
I'm also going to go for a 4. I didn't have a chance to see it at the cinema, so I've only seen it on TV size. But the reason I'm not giving it a full 5 is that I think I probably would have enjoyed it more watching it in company rather than just like watching it on my own.
Yeah.
I think that would have been...
Yeah, that's true.
Probably made my
Collective
experience
experience.
Where's my Denzel at the end, right? Helen wants a Denzel too, to be like, oh, did the whole yawn in the arm around the shoulder thing, right? Exactly. I get that.
You want your corrupt cop? Is that what you're saying?
Everyone needs a corrupt cop.
I'm going to 4.5 here. I saw it in cinema, but think otherwise it works great at home. Bigger screen at home, definitely, but apart from that. Engagement score. How involved are you when you're watching this film? Are you reaching Twitter to like...
Engagement score. I mean, when you're watching the cinema and on DVD, the engagement is straight 5 because you're not doing anything else. You can't take your eyes off Denzel because you don't know what he's going to do next.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, what is going on here? Every scene was just gold. So I'm saying 5 for engagement.
Dane?
I'm going to give... Not going to give the same, I think, because like you can't take your eyes off him. I think that's what it works. He's all-consuming.
Do you think it kind of... Even though Ethan's a fantastic actor, isn't he? But he just does pale in comparison to Denzel in this.
Yeah.
But you need a good actor so he can play off against.
Exactly. Which might have been the dynamic they wanted to observe and that work. Who is the guy who plays when Denzel goes to get the warrant?
Roger.
Yeah. Not the guy they rob. The guy they go to get the warrant from. The policeman.
The 3 wise men. I know.
Oh, there's a few. Yeah, they're
all character actors.
Yeah, they're all known actors. I can't remember.
Yeah, because I don't know. I think it's Tom Berenger, but like
it might have been Tom Berenger. One of them.
Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah, from Top Gun. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Not John Voight. John Voight, maybe?
No,
John Voight wasn't.
Tom Berenger, yeah. So, yeah, and even that scene was good. Just that bounce off them.
Yeah.
Because really, I mean, arguably, Denzel's taking the lower status in that particular scene.
Yeah.
Still, sizzles.
Helen?
So, I mean, it's one of those films where you're just like, where are they going to go next? Like, what is going to happen to Ethan Hawke? Like, is he actually going to make it out? And where possibly can he go next? And, like, is this day over? It seems like a really, really long day. So I'm going to give it a 4.5.
I'm going to give it sorry, what am I doing? 4.5. I'm going to go for a 5. The first time I remember watching, like I say, I didn't know anything about this film when it first came out, and I just walked into the screening. I knew it was out, but didn't know what was happening. But the fact that he actually dies at the end, and that scene is amazing.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
If you got that far.
Just did not expect it. Didn't expect it. And
didn't expect that.
No. So yeah, I think 5 for this. So that gives us an overall score of 4.268.
That's nice.
Yes, decent score. So
movie.
It's a great movie. We always reach out to Twitter and ask our Twitter fans and tell them that we're reviewing, in this case, Training Day with Funmbi and Dane Baptiste from Quotas Full. Have you seen it? Give us your thoughts for an on-air shout-out. We've got a couple of responses. Funmbi, can you read out the first one?
The first one is solid flick. Don't remember a lot about but Denzel and Hawke were great. All right. Okay.
I love that one. And Dane, can you take the second one?
Bullied and charmed into corruption by a crooked cop, rookie faces down cold-blooded Denzel Washington and Snoop puking, #Training Day. Outstanding and impactful trifecta of direction, acting and script, near flawless drama. Did Antoine Fuqua
do direct it?
Yeah.
What was the other film he did?
Antoine Fuqua.
He's done loads of films.
He does like Fast and Furious.
But I feel like it was something like Fast and Furious, something afterwards that was pretty good back to back. But it wasn't. He didn't do.
He's the one that did Brooklyn's Finest, I think. Another cop film, yeah.
Tell you another good Denzel film, Antoine Fisher, with Derek Luke.
Have I seen that?
You'd
I can't
love
remember.
it. Watch that.
I think I've seen
That's
that.
so good. People talking about mental health now.
Yeah.
Like, that film was ahead of its time, man. That was a good film.
Antoine Fisher.
You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
You like it?
It was alright.
I loved it, man.
Yeah, The Equalizer, Magnificent Seven.
That was it.
Yeah. So we should have said those two tweets we read out were from Top Film Tip, and we also have What Were They Thinking? Thanks, guys, for sending us those tweets. I think, guys, if you can just let people know on Twitter where we can find you and Instagram, and say bye to the listeners.
I'm me at Funmbi, which is Funmbi, and then at Funmbi Omotayo on Instagram. But Quotas full podcast. I'm doing a special soon, so
nice.
Look out for that. And you can just find us state or any comedy club in London worth its salt. You see us mashing it up on a Thursday to Saturday, I guess. But thank you for listening, man. You enjoy this.
Dane Baptiste, aka Dane Bap Tweets on Twitter, aka Dane Snaptiste on Instagram. Also listen to Dane Baptiste Questions Everything and Quotas Full. And as Funmbi says, anywhere you have comedy, we should be nearby. We are ubiquitous and hilarious. Thank you very much.
Nice one.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Cheers.
Bye. Enjoyed this episode of Flixwatcher podcast? Why not leave us a 5-star review on iTunes? You can also follow us at FlixWatcherPod on Twitter, and we're at FlixWatcher on Instagram. Thanks as always to the mighty people for their mighty, mighty tunes, and Ben from Rockwood Audio for his awesome editing skills. If you're looking to get your podcast edited as sweet as this, get in touch with Ben, and that's Rockwood, ROKK Wood Audio. Tell him Flixwatcher sent you.
You just heard a Stripped Media production.